Yeah, hello and welcome wherever you are. Good afternoon from Wrocław. It's about to start our today's live coding session. Yeah, okay, so firstly, something about me. I'm Dominic, I will be your host today. I'm front-end developer at LiveChat for 3 years, and I'm working in the developer program team. You can find me on Twitter, and in my free time, I really enjoy longboarding with some good electronic music. Yeah, okay, so let's go to the today's workshop's agenda. So in the minute, we're gonna start live coding, where we gonna to use components from our design system and develop new features in the existing app. Then at the end of the workshops, I'm gonna describe to you the task, the coding contest, and that will enable you to win the prize. And after that, there will be a quick Q&A session. Okay, so let's start. But before that, please join us on our Discord server, where we discuss and talk about all this live chat technical stuff. So feel free to join us there. There should be a link in the chat, and yeah. Okay, so let's start. It's me. Hi again. Okay, so today we're gonna working on the Gifi integration. It's a simple app that allows agent to send GIFs right into the chat and scroll for searching another one. Right now it's quite simple, and we can find some things that we're gonna to improve here. So the first one will be the problem with the searching for GIFs. The agent is not able right now to do so. So we're gonna to implement that with the component from our design system. This is our documentation. You can type here for and look for the components. The first one that we're gonna to use will be the search bar. Okay, so we have a few versions here of that component. These are different configuration with different props, and we're gonna to use this one. You can find here also the code snippets. Okay, so let me copy that and open the project for first time right now. It's just a simple React project that right now have one view. And what we have here, there's a bunch of local states here, the hook that authorize our app with live chat. We have to use effects that are responsible for fetching GIFs. The first one is the initial fetching. The second one is about fetching GIFs when the agent is scrolling the list. Then we have some logic related to building the GIFs list structure, the code that is fetching the customer data from agent app, and also the method that is responsible for sending the GIFs to the chat. Then we have some simple JSX that will render the list of GIFs. The loader that will present when the GIFs are loading, and also the simple component that will tell us if the user is at the end of the list. Okay, that's all. Let's start coding. firstly, we're gonna to add the search bar at above the GIFs list. Okay, so right now we don't want to use the loading prop, just use onChange prop right now. Okay, so we need to store the query from search bar in another local state. It will be query, and the setter for that set query by default the empty string. Okay, so let me put it into the onChange prop and import the component from design system. Okay, right now we should see the search bar here, and we can type some letters here. Okay, so now we have the query, and we need to use it for to fetch GIFs by the query. So let me add another use effect here. It will be triggered by when the query is changing, and then we have here the get GIFs method that we're gonna to modify right now. It looks like that. It have in arguments the page and offset, and based on that, it's fetching more GIFs. So right now we have here also the query, and if the query exists, let me just use another method from the Gifi SDK. It's called search. Okay, and we need here to put the query as the first argument. Okay, we can close that, and in the use effect that is responsible for fetching GIFs on scroll, we also need to add the query, because when the agent, for example, type the cat and see the cat's GIFs and scroll down for looking the proper one, we're gonna to fetch more GIFs about the cats. Okay, so let me test this solution right now. I just need to open the network tab to see how many requests we are sending right now. So let me search for the cat, and it works. But as you see, we sent 3 different requests to Gifi every time we type one letter. So this is a problem, because it's such a waste. So we can check that the search bar component has the prop name like the bounce time, and we're gonna use it right now to solve this problem. It's just about to set the time in milliseconds, and that is actually the delay before the onChange change the state. So right now, when I try to type something here, okay, wait, I need to refresh that. We have only one request, so everything is fine. Okay, so now let me just add some styles to the search bar. We are using here emotion CSS. Okay, it will be the padding, position fixed to see the search bar all the time, bigset index, the width, and the background color to hide the GIFs that will be after the search bar. So now it looks better, but still the GIFs are the first GIFs are hidden under the search bar. So I just need to change the margin top of the GIFs list For example, I think 45 will be good. Okay, so the first problem is solved. Agent now is able to search for GIFs that he actually wants to use. Okay, the second problem here is that agent could be confused that right after click the GIF is sent into the chat. So we should add here some kind of preview to let him decide if he really want to use it or not. And we can achieve that by using the modal-based component. The first one is empty, and we're not gonna use it. I think this one will fit for us. Yeah, because we can send the GIF, close the modal, and display the GIF right here. Okay, how it looks like in the React, we have just the modal component, and we need to decide if it should be open or closed. So let me copy that right under the GIFs list. Okay, and now I will comment the code that is not working and import all important stuff. Where is LiveChat Design System? Also the button and the React fragment. Okay, so we can set this as true right now and see how it looks like in chat details. Okay, so the modal is here, but it's too wide right now. So let me change the width. I will delete the height also. Let me change the width to 100% of screen size and minus 30 pixels. Yeah, this is the problem with that component because it has the default CSS properties like, for example, min width that we need right now to disable to adjust this component to such a small resolution. Yeah, so it could be cases when you need to do it, but yeah, it should work right now. Okay, so this right now we want to decide if the model should be open, and we need to add another local state for checking if the particular GIF is selected. So it will be something like selected GIF, and the setter for that by default undefined. Okay, and now let me change the method that is responsible for that is on GIF click. It's passed to all GIFs blocks right here. So instead of sending the GIF, just set the selected GIF. And right now, if the GIF is selected, everything is fine. I think so. Okay. So let me use check if the selected GIF exists. If so, show the modal where we can render the image, simple image tag with the selected GIF. So let me just check the structure of GIF object. Okay, it's here. So we're gonna to add the URL and alt tag. It comes from the selected GIF and also here. Okay, so let me check that. This is quite big. Yeah, but it works right now. So now let me handle another things here, like closing the button. It will be just clearing the selected GIF state. Also, we're gonna use it on the secondary button that will close close the model. Sorry, it's not selected GIF, but set selected GIF. Okay, perfect. Okay, now let me handle the primary button, which will be sending the GIF to the chat. Okay, so here we're gonna to use the method send GIF, and we're gonna to pass here selected GIF. Before we check that if everything works fine, let me just show you how to improve the design of that component. The resolution is small, so the spaces here are quite important. For example, we could remove the padding from the LC model body because it's not important right now. So to do so, we need to go to some parent component or element and use the class and disable the padding to 0. Okay, now it's better, but we can also delete the header from here in the same way. Okay, and the last thing is that close button that also is not it's not good right now. So also this display none here. Perfect. Okay, let's just one last thing to add some styles to these buttons. Right here, but not with the inline styles, but with the emotion CSS. And it should be something like the width of 50% minus 8 pixels, and maybe the margin like 0 and 4 pixels. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna to check if the sending is working. Okay, there is a problem with checking the chat ID, so simple app refresh should fix that issue. Okay, perfect. But we can still here improve the user experience. Like when the agent is clicking the button, he don't know what is happening right now because the view is still the same, and there's no such loading state for the situation. So we're gonna to add another local state for the loading state. Called, for example, is GIF sending, and the setter false by default. And let's change that before we send the request. no, change it to true and turn it off after it's done. Okay, so now we need to use the isGIF sending in the submit button. It has the prop like loading, so let's put it here. Yeah, okay, so we could also turn off the modal when everything is done with sending the GIF. Okay, so will be better right now. I think it's the same problem with the chat ID, so let me just refresh the frame. Oh, perfect. Okay, so that's all about this section. Few important things is that you should always use only one primary button on the screen, like here. And you should always use the loading states to avoid confusions, to your customers can then better understand what actually happened with your app. So it's quite important, and yeah, remember about that. Oh, I missed one question, but yeah, but Jakub Sikora is right here, so good. Okay, so that's all about this part of app. Let me go right now to the second one. I just need to change the branch of repository. To settings, okay. So now let's go to the settings. Yeah, and here we have the whole configuration for the app. So for example, if we are talking about the Gifi integration, it could be we want here to allow the managers, for example, to block specific categories of GIFs. There will be GIFs that will not fit for the for the business conversation. So it will be good to add such an option for the managers. So we have here in this tab only two boxes with ready buttons. And now we would like to append some user interface right under. Firstly, it should be, for example, three switches that will allow to block different not so good kinds of GIFs, like you will see in the moment. So we're gonna to use the switch component, and I will copy that with the label. Okay, and now we are going to the settings view, and there are some tabs. The currently selected tab is located in the local state, and then we have only the decision what components should be rendered. So the first one is block list, and this option are actually these two boxes. So let me just add right under the group field another form group, but only with the helper text. And here we're gonna to have the switch. Okay, I just need to find the proper copy. Yeah, and the switch component has the on change prop that will change our state, and on prop that will decide if the switch should be on or off. So let me just delete these styles. And change the order to have the switch on the left side. Okay, and now yeah, we're gonna to use 3 switches, and also I need to get the copy right now. Yeah, and these are these bad gifs categories. So we're gonna to use it in the on change function. That we're going to create for a moment. So let me just import the switch here. Okay, so now we're gonna to manage these 3 switches state with one use state here. So it will be the, for example, Gifi filtering. Yeah, and it will be for 3 switches, so we need to use the array here. Yeah, and now create the onChange method that has the category in the argument. Yeah, and now we need to check if the selected category is already in the array. If so, you need to remove it from here, from there. If no, just push it here. So if the gives filtering includes category, let me change the state to gives filtering, but without the current category. So we're gonna to use the filter function. And check if it with the category from argument. Okay, if the category is not into the gives filtering, just add it here. Okay, we're going to spread the every items and add the category. Okay, so now we need also to manage the on prop, so it will be just okay, so here we're gonna to check if the give filtering array includes the particular category. Okay, I think it's everything right now. So let me check the results. Okay, just refresh that. Okay, and now we're gonna to console log this gives filtering to check if everything works fine. Okay, 3 items, 3 switches on. Okay, looks good. Okay, so now let's add some styles here. Like for the switch container and the label. Okay, so this is the div wrapper. So just add the, well, not like that, the container. And also for this span tag, the label CSS. Okay, no better, just let me add the margin left the label, maybe 10 pixels. Yeah, and now it looks good. It will be good also to add here some margin top to the whole container. So it will be somewhere here. Yeah, and it will be also good to disable this border bottom. Okay, so it's here. Yeah, this is this one. So let me just copy the class and use it somewhere here. Okay, so maybe because we want only remove the one border bottom, so let me put it here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the next feature that we're gonna to develop here will be the option to for managers to block the specific phases that agents will be not able to search in the search bar. So we need to find the input component in the documentation. It's actually input field with the many props, but we're not gonna to use all of them. Okay, so let me just add the under div wrapper. Okay, and in the input field, okay, I need also to import the button component. We're gonna to use the value label text error, but not now. The ID is not important right now. Label right note also the description. I can delete that. Okay, and that's the most important props here. So let me just add also the button to blocking the phrase that manager has typed into the input. So it will be like block. Okay, and now we're gonna we need to add the local state for the query input. So let me add query. It will be the empty string at the beginning. Okay, and now let's use the onChange prop from input field. We need to set the query by getting from the event the value, and the value prop, it will be just the query. Okay, let me check if everything works fine right now. Okay, we can type in. Okay, it will be good to move the button on the right side of the input. So let me just style it like display flex. Okay, now we need to set the fixed height for the button. It should be. Let me check the height of input. 36. Okay, 36 pixels. Also we're gonna to add the margin top. Like 24 pixels, yeah, and the margin left like 5. Okay, this is only one button, so we can make it primary. Okay, so the next step will be to show all the blocked query right under the this input and button. So we need to add another local state here, like blocked queries. It should be the array. Okay, and just create the list of that. Using the map function. We need to set the key property here. With the index. Okay, so now let me just add the label like blocked queries. And I will just add some styles here. For the whole wrapper. Okay. And for the particular label. Okay, so let me add one test. Okay, so it's not working because the button block has not the on-click property. Okay, so let's create the function like on block, and here we're gonna to check if the query is valid. If so, add it to the array. So if the query exists, just add it to the blocked queries. Okay, we need to split the existing one and add the new. Okay, perfect. So probably I will be able to add the same one. So it will be good to add here some validation. So we're gonna to use the state for errors, so it will be just an error and set error undefined by default. Okay, and here in the onBlock function, we're gonna to create the helper variable like error message. And now it's time for validation. So if the query doesn't exist, set the error message to please enter valid query. Okay, there is also a situation when the query is already added, already blocked. So if the blocked queries includes the query, set the error message to you. Okay, and now before the submit, we need to check if the error message exists. If no, finish the submitting. We can here also clear the query to clear the input. But if the error message exists, set it into the error state. Okay, and now let me grab the error and put it into the input field right here. And now let's test that. Okay, perfect, and the empty query is also working. Okay, so we added the validation, we use the switches and a few other components. So I think right now we can leave this section and go to the next one. Now we have good time, so let me see the suggestions. The first feature here is automatically add GIFs to favorites. So it's like when the agents are using the GIFs often, the GIFs should be added to favorites, and it's we have here one checkbox. So the other feature about suggestions could be suggesting the GIFs in the GIFs list for agents. That will be basing on the messages from the chat. Okay, so let me find this these components with suggestions. Yeah, we have here one checkbox field. So let me add another one and just change the copy. Yeah, so just GIFs based on chat messages. Yeah, and now we need another local state for that component, like GIFs suggestions, set GIFs. But it will be not only the true-false value, but it will manage also the source of the suggestions. So it should be the messages from the agents, or maybe from the visitors, or maybe both. So we're gonna to add here the key is turned on, true by default, and the source by default maybe the agent. Okay, let me just check the things in props. So the checkbox should be on, checked if the is turned on is true. And we're gonna to create the method for changing the suggestions. Okay, so here we're gonna to change the state to the opposite one. So we're gonna need to split the values from the give suggestions and change is turned on key to the opposite one. Okay, so let's check if the checkbox is working. Looks like that. Okay, so now we're gonna to add 3 more radio buttons that will to choose the source of the chat messages. So let me find the radio button. This one. Okay, and now added the div wrapper right after the checkbox fields. Okay, so there is a checked prop on click. Let me just import that. Okay, so we're going to use 3. And the radio button will be checked if the gives suggestions source will be equal to the value of that radio button. So the first one will be the agent, the second one visitor, and above. Yeah, and also here. All right, so the on-click function with just a new method called on source change. And here we're gonna to do the same thing but with the source. So we need to take from the argument the new source and update it right here. Okay, so it will be good to list these radio buttons into the row. So let me just add here some styles. And also the margin top. Okay, and maybe also the margin top for every radio button. Okay, something is not working here. So yeah, we need to pass the value to the on source change. Like here. and it should be the function. So now it works. Okay, and the last thing that we're gonna to add here is disabling these radio buttons when the suggest GIFs based on chat messages is turned off instead of hiding it. So we need to just check if the GIF suggestions is turned on and add here the disabled prop. Yeah, and get the opposite value. Okay, so right here, right now it's working like that. Yeah, so I think it's time to go to the last section in this project. It's history tab, and it's place when the managers can monitor how the agents are working with the app, and if everything works fine like it should. So what we're gonna to add here, the table is small and have only the 5 GIFs, but when there will be more records, it will be good to add some filtering options. So the first one could be the filter by the agent, and we can achieve that by using the select component to choose the right agent that we're gonna to monitor. Okay, here there's many a lot of code, so let me just copy the component. Let's go to the history tab and add it right under the table. Let's delete ID. Okay, so we need to add the items of that select. Yeah, it will be just an array with 3 different agents. Two and 3. Okay, so the next prop on item select, we can copy that from here. No, this one actually will be just the setter from the use state. So let's add one like selected agent. Let me import that. Okay, this is the on item select, and the selected agent will be the selected prop. Okay, so the last thing is to import the select. Not from here, but from React. Select is not defined. Yeah, but it should be. Okay, so it's too long right now, and we need to add some space under. So just me change the CSS a little, like the width to 300 pixels and the margin bottom to 10. Okay, so now we can select the agent, and the second part of the development is to connect the select to the table. So we just map the GIFs array from here. Right now we're gonna to check if any agent was selected, and if so, we're gonna to filter it out. So it will be something like the filtered GIFs. Okay, and if the agent is selected, let me use the filter method. And check if the selected agent is equal to the agent from the GIF. If no, just return the GIFs. But now let it use into the array, into the table. Yeah, so okay, it works. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you will be how to announce the new features in your app to your customers, because right now there is no such a communication channel to do so. So the best way to communicate with them and tell him about what is new in your app is the in-app message component. And it looks like that. You can put here an image or a GIF and target the redirect to the new section in your app. Yeah, so you can check that in the repository, because it should be public right now. Yeah. Okay, so actually that's all what I have prepared for you today. So now let's talk about the coding task that can enable you to win the prize. Okay, so what you're gonna need to do. Let me just open the link. All right. So the first part of the task is to use the range.data picker from the documentation and add another filtering option, but this time it should be use the send at value. So we want to allow the managers to send the GIFs in the history by the data range. It looks like that. Have the fixed options and the custom dates. So you need to work with dates to solve that. Yeah, and the second part of the task is to come up with. So you need to go to the documentation, see what we have here, and come up with the new component that doesn't exist already, and come up with the one use case for that component. Yeah, so describe it in the README repository, and we will be waiting for your PRs. So good luck with that. Yeah, and I think now we can. Oh, you should have the link to the repository in the chat to see more details. Okay, so now maybe it's time for questions if you have any. If not, we are closing to finish these workshops. I hope you learn something valuable for you, and you're gonna to use the components from design system in your future projects because it will make the design review process much easier for you, and for sure it will save your time to in the process of publishing the app on our marketplace. Okay, yeah, I use the fixed colors in this project. We don't have the solution from the design system to use the theme right now. Yeah, but it's good to know because you can tell us what is important for you. What kind of components would you like to use, and what should be the what new components should have the highest priority for us to in the development process. So okay, nice. So I think we're gonna to finish these workshops. Yeah, thank you very much for your time and spending with me this time. Good luck with the coding task, and have a good night. Yeah, and see ya. And at the beginning, if you didn't, please join the developer program. If you don't have the account, you can create one for free. The developer program allows you to use our console when you can find some inspirations, when you can see what you can do with your app here. So please check this out.